Hey, I'm back, my beautiful people. Sorry about that. Our Wi-Fi is very trash. If I'm being honest, my Wi-Fi is trash, but we got to work with what we got. We got to work with what we got. Sorry about that. Messed up the whole group of things, man. Please, everybody, get back in, and I'm just gonna go back to where I was started. I'm just gonna continue back off where we started. Had a lot of valuable information in the last about 40 minutes. Wish it would have kept on going, but hey, honestly, if I could throw hands with the Wi-Fi, I would have been through hands with it. I'm trying to make sure everything is set up, everything's working right. Okay, well I'm back, and we don't have the same viewers we had in here, which I'm mad about because we were going on full thing, we were doing good, but hey, can't complain about it. Just like the trading, just like anything in life, if you can't do nothing, if you can't change it, if it's out of your control, don't stress about it. You know what I'm saying? It's out of your control. Don't stress about it. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're just gonna go back to what we were talking about. So something like crypto. Whenever you see the red, the only thing I feel really confident in crypto buying red, knowing that it's gonna give me my bounce, is Bitcoin. That is the only thing for me I feel comfortable because it is more of a risk on asset. More things get rug pulled and more things get devalued all the way down to zero in crypto. In stocks, you don't see that very often. Well, in stocks, you won't see a rug pull at all. But I'm not gonna say rarely, dudes, because you see things fall and not come back. But if you have a better security asset, and if you're investing in a stock that you know has potential to do something like say for Tesla, I know in the next 5 years, I know in the next 5 years, Tesla is going to be heavy. I know in the next 5 years, Tesla is going to be close to $1,000 stock. Not if not close, it will be $1,000 stock because Tesla is going to be coming out with these robots. Tesla is the biggest AI manufacturer right now, especially into robots. Tesla and Elon Musk. Yes, you know about the Tesla cars, but what Tesla is really going to be about are these robots. That is what Tesla is really going to be about, is these robots. So I see I have one viewer, so I want to repeat this. So whenever you have a more of a secure asset like Tesla, so in stocks, you can have things that come down and don't quite go to its all-time highs. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, from the continuation of the last stream, you want to buy red and sell your green, right? In crypto, it's more of a risk because in crypto you do see things more. In crypto, you will see more. Excuse me. You will see things return back down to basically zero. You know what I'm saying? So in crypto, the only asset I am truly positive on buying in the red is Bitcoin because I know Bitcoin has a future. Bitcoin is the future money. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel. That's how I feel about crypto. And if you're into crypto, I'm pretty sure you feel the same way that crypto has the future and is the future of basically this world's currency. You know what I'm saying? So that's why in crypto, that is really the truly for me the only thing I feel safe on investing in on the red. So on the stock market, you will see things that could fall down to the red and not quite reach all-time highs. But if you are if you have a company like bring up Tesla again, Tesla that you know has a future, because I know Tesla is going to be coming out with robots, heavy robots that are going to be brought up in demand. I know in Tesla in the next 5 years will be about $100 stock, right? I mean about $1,000 stock. I know for sure in the future in the next 5 years Tesla will be close to $1,000 stock. Okay, so now let me bring you to my chart to show you what I'm talking about when we buy red and sell green on a secure, on a company that we feel greatly secured in. And I see we have one viewer in here. Can we get a comment from our one viewer to see who's in here? Who watching? Sorry, let me pull up my live. I want to make sure everything's going right. Melio? I got Melio in here? Okay. So look, I'm gonna show y'all. Man, I'm so mad, man. I had more viewers in the last stream, and it freaking kicked us out of the stream. But like I said, we're gonna get better and control what you can control, and what you can't control, don't stress over it, because there's no point of doing that. And that's just in everything in life. Control what you can control, and things that you can't control, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So what do we see in Tesla? Oh man, I'm still on this freaking indicator. Okay, it just disappeared. Okay. Oh my god, all this chop, dog. God dang, man. Sorry for the quality, man. We're gonna get better. So, like in Tesla, a more secure asset, we can see its all-time high was at this 485, close to 500. Now we're all the way down to 220. So what do we want to do? We want to buy red. We see this is a very good opportunity, because how do we make money? We make money by buying an asset at a low and selling that asset at a higher price, getting the profits in between, right? So if we know, I'm not going to say no, but my very good judgment in me knowing that Tesla is heavy into robots, in the next 5 years, I can see Tesla reaching that $1,000 stock. Okay. Because yes, we have all this bad information on the Tesla cars, but that is not truly what Tesla company is going to be big into. Tesla company is big into robots. You know what I'm saying? So that is truly what the stock market, what the Tesla stock is going to run on. Okay. So as we can see this run. We can see our all-time high was 485. Now we want to pull out our ruler to see how far down we are from our all-time highs. We are 54% down from our all-time highs on Tesla. So that means, what does that mean? That means you're getting it at a discount. When we go to the store, listen to me. When we go to the store, what do we look for? Sorry, I'm looking at the internet. Okay, when we go to the store, what do we look for? We look for things on sale. We want to buy things at a lower price, right? So that is the same in stocks, in crypto, in any asset you buy. You want to buy it at the low and sell it at the high. Okay. I mean, we don't sell our groceries at a high, but we still want to buy our groceries at the low, right? We don't sell our groceries at a high unless you doing some unless that's your you know what I'm saying, your money making. You flipping groceries, you know what I'm saying? But just like in anything in real estate, okay, just like in anything in real estate, what do? Real estate, we want to buy this house for 100,000, let it appreciate, or find somebody else that wants to buy it for 150,000, so we can get that profit, right? It's the same with stocks. We see Tesla all-time high was at 485. We pull our ruler out and see how far we see it. We don't even got to pull our ruler out. We know um its all-time high is 470. It dropped down to 220. That is a 50% discount. Give me that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying do that for every company that you see down. I'm not saying you do that for every company, but do that on companies that you are very confident in and that you like I said, feel very confident in, that are going to go back up. You know what I'm saying? Because in times of red, you want to buy, because why? Why do you want to buy in times of red? Well, let me show you. I showed it. I just was showing it in my last stream, but the last stream got cut off. So sure, we get everything that's going on. Okay. So stay with me, my beautiful people. Stay with me. I'm gonna get to the trade recap, but honestly, I just love teaching what I've learned, and basically what I go over and what I study and what I'm finding out and learning. Because just like y'all, I'm learning this information, and all my information that I learn, I want to teach to y'all. And everything. I'm not saying everything I say is just the word's truth or everything is right. I'm learning just like y'all. So if I say something right now that is incorrect, and if I say something right now that's incorrect and tomorrow I learn it, I will come back to y'all and say I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or if y'all hear something that I'm saying, if you feel Tesla is very good company, well, Tesla is a very good company, but if you are confident in Tesla, I'm very confident in Tesla. In the next okay, so how I can tell you to invest in something in the next 5 years, where do you see that company? You know what I'm saying? You can go deeper into, which I have this good book right here. You are going to want to read this book. This book is amazing. I'm not done with it. I'm actually barely into it. It's a 600-page book, but this is a really good book on investing. So one way to see, should I invest in this company? Think about it. In the next 5 years, where can I see this company? So that's why you don't want to just go in and buy every company. Where do I see this company? So in things like Home Depot, in the next 5 years, do you see Home Depot going away, or do you see it only going up? Things like Walmart, you know what I'm saying? Things like that, things like Walmart, things like Home Depot, the S&P 500, things that are around that you know are not going to go down in price. Those are the things you really want to invest in, okay? So the SPY, this is the SPY, right? This thing is not going nowhere, okay? And keep in mind, the SPY is just the S&P 500. That's all the SPY is. You can see it up here, ticker symbol. The ticker symbol is SPY, SPY, but it's really just the S&P 500, just in a smaller form, okay? So I want to show you this. The S&P 500 is, see, this is one way you can see. If you see how this, okay, we pull our ruler out, and I just went over this in my last one, but I'm just re-going over this. In the Great Depression of 2008, we dropped down 57% on the SPY. On an indice, dropping that much, that is massive, okay? To keep in mind how massive that is, oh man, it went away. Okay, so we know that that's a 57% drop. To keep in mind how massive that is, that's why they call it the Great Depression. You can come over here, and what is this? This is 2020 during the pandemic. during the pandemic. We all know we had this heavy sell-off because it was crazy. There was a lot of fear. So you can see in this pandemic, we dropped 34%. That is still huge for an indice to drop. But we could see how big the Great Depression was compared to the pandemic. And then look, we can barely even see this little pullback right here. We got to zoom in. I got to zoom in and see that little thing. You know what I'm saying? I got to zoom in to see this. And I'll go over what this is. I'll go over what this is. Trust me, I'll go over what that is. But this is, you see how I can go in. Let me see. Let me show y'all. Come on, man. All right, thing playing with me today. Okay, there we go. Stay with me now. Stay with me, my good people. Stay with me. Okay, so we see how this, we're thinking, oh my God, the market has been selling off like crazy. Excuse me. This is just a correction. Corrections are totally normal. You will see in the market, you will have bear markets, you will have corrections, and those are totally normal. Things like 2020, I said 2020, Jesus Christ. Things like 2020 with the 37% drop, this is in 2020, but things like 2020 with the 30% drop, those are panic times. Things like the Great Depression, those are serious like economic crisis moments, you know, that drop. That is healthy for the market because you need downs, you need retracements to break structures. You need down moments to have the up moments. That is in life, that is in the market, that is for everything. You need the down moments for the up moments, right? So that is also healthy, but that is not the 50% drops and 30% drops. Those aren't truly natural to happen in indices. In common stocks like Tesla, they can fall 50%. And so we can see, oh man, in common stocks, we can see a fall of 50% so you see how we had only a 10% drop in our indice. That is because this is an ETF. That is all of these companies combined. So that's why it's only a correction of 10%. But a common stock, like a regular stock like Tesla, during a crisis time like this, it could fall up to 50%. And also, we know Tesla is a little different because Elon Musk is into politics right now. So it also dropped even further than what it actually had to. Okay. So right here, we can see this is just a correction, just 10%. Because remember, like I told y'all, a correction is 10% down from all-time highs up to 15%, up to 19%. That is correction territory. Give me a second to research this real quick. A correction typically refers to 10% up to 19%. So I was correct. I was trying to double fact check myself because I didn't want to give you all the wrong information. Okay. So a correction is 10 to 19%. Anything after 19% is considered a crash. So in 2020, we had the crash. In the Great Depression, we had the crash. You know what I'm saying? But corrections are totally normal for the market. Okay. Yes, we fell to the correction during this crazy sell-off and crazy unknown time, but we can't truly be panicked because this is just a correction. This is very healthy for the market. Okay. So I know this is supposed to be a trade recap, and I done went over things on the market and recessions and stuff like that. But that's truly because I just love teaching and sharing knowledge that I learned. And everything I learned, I want to show you guys. And ultimately, I'm not just giving y'all knowledge. I'm not just talking. I want to really teach you guys and help y'all learn. And so if you are trying to learn, I went over these higher highs, higher lows, equal highs, equal lows in this last stream. That's why I'm mad that it cut off, because it's not all together. But I am going to also, in the end of this, I got to go over my trade recap. Okay, which I'm going to get to because it is already getting late. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into my trade recap and why I lost $150 today. Why I'm not too mad that I lost, because let me bring this up and let me show you guys. Stay with me, my good people. Okay, I'm gonna take my screen off real quick. Stay with me, my good people. I wrote this off in my last stream. Please watch my last stream, because my last stream is this stream. It's just the stream cut off, so I made it into two because I had to start the stream back. Okay, and honestly, I'm gonna see if I can edit and put them together for one video, because I don't like how I did that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see you, brother. I see you. So the market is gonna open at 8:30. So your thing will be in at 8:30. Okay. Oh, in 5 years, Tesla's gonna be up to 1,000, like I said. So what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's gonna be 5 times your $10. So you'll have $50 in there. Trust and believe that. Okay. I have money in Tesla. I'm not just telling you it. Whatever I say is not a suggestion for you to buy, hold, or sell. I am not financial coach. I'm not a financial coach. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving y'all and sharing y'all knowledge of what I've learned. Okay. Stay with me, my good people. I'm just drawing this all back out for y'all. Okay. So this is the model I showed y'all earlier, right? So we have our trend, we have our accumulation. I have a red line right here. Why? Because this is where sellers are pushing price down. I have a green line right here because this is where buyers are buying it up, right? We have our manipulation, which is where price broke out of that range, making buyers think. We have our manipulation. So we had our breakout of our range, where we have buyers thinking, okay, price is going up because we broke out of that range, moving, creating another higher high. But that is just a manipulation. Why? Because we have I'm gonna write this out for y'all. Because then it's a manipulation before we ultimately have our distribution. Our distribution is our sell-off, okay? I want y'all to be able to see this. Our distribution is our sell-off, okay? And it can sell off. I already went over this, but I just want to go over it again. Our sell-off can either react off of this fair value gap. I already taught y'all the fair value gaps, but I will keep going over it. And in the future, I will have videos so you can keep going to these actual videos, and you don't have to just go through all my live streams. I'll have a specific video for my fair value gap. I'll have specific videos for your order blocks, your breaker blocks, your market structure shifts, which are your changer characters. I will have videos for all these things. I'm telling you guys, just stay with me. Okay, so price can come to my fair value gap or my order blocks and give us a move back up, actually giving us another break of structure, continuing the uptrend. Or what could we see? We could see price continue to drop down, giving us change of character, making lower lows, lower highs. Okay. So this is exactly the model I got caught up on. Okay. And I don't want to make this live stream too long because this one and my other one I think are already up to like about an hour 30. So I'm gonna show y'all this trade recap. I'm gonna tell y'all what news is going on tomorrow, and that should be the end of it. And I hope this live stream. And please, if you're on this live stream, I'm telling you, you have to go back and watch the other live stream. They both have the same thumbnail on them because they are both together. I got cut out, but I'm telling you, they are both together. And I had so much good information in that last one that could really help you understand what I'm talking about in this one, okay? So I'm going to show y'all my trade real quick. And I love this because I'm being totally transparent with you guys, showing y'all my losses. Let me catch it up. I love this because I'm showing you guys my losses because I'm showing you these big losses. Why? Because when I show you these big green days, you will know, oh, he's not capping. He's not just showing me the green days. He's telling me about these red days too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get on here and tell you about my $400 loss, tell you about my $150 loss, tell you about my other, other losses. I will tell you, I'm going to come on here and tell you about my losses because these losses aren't forever. These aren't failures. They are setbacks for bigger and better things. And that is in everything in life. When you fall, it's so you can get up stronger. Okay. So let me go over this. What did I get caught up in? And I know I said, okay, let's go over this. And it's been about an hour 30 into the stream and I ain't went over nothing yet. Well, I went over stuff, but I ain't went over my trade yet. That's probably what y'all been waiting for. It's supposed to be a trade recap. Okay. So what did we do in open? Okay. First, before we go to our 1 minute and see what price is doing during our open, we have to first, before we see what price is doing in our little scalping time frame, first we have to come to our big time frame to see what price is doing, right? Okay, stay with me, boys and girls. We have to see what we're doing in our big time frame, okay? So we can see we have this big sell-off, so we're still in a downtrend. We have this area of support, hold up, knocking price up, creating higher highs, higher lows, before ultimately breaking these higher highs and higher lows and coming all the way back down, sweeping this area of support before ultimately getting another reaction upwards, okay? So now that we know in our big time frame we're going down, we had a relief, but we broke that, okay? So we can just see, those are just things to see what price can do, okay? And where price is at and where it can potentially react off of, okay? So I cut on my 15 minute. In my 15 minute currently, what's going on? Okay, in my 15 minute, what are we currently doing? In our 15 minute, we're currently trying to climb up, creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? But what do we see here? We see a fair value gap. Why is this a fair value gap? Because this is where we had higher highs, higher lows, and we had this ultimately breaking down, creating lower lows for ultimately coming and reacting on this support, okay? So I would call this more of a strength candle. This is a gap. This is a seller gap. Yeah, this is a seller gap. So what did we do coming into today? Right here is our range, these two candles, and now I'm gonna go down to my smaller time frame. I can go down to my 5 minute. Stay with me, boys. Stay with me, boys. I promise you I'm getting to it. Okay. I go to my 5 minute and see it, but no, I want to go down to my 1 minute so I can see it even more. So I can see what price is doing even more. Okay. Even better. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's get it to this $1. God dang. Okay, price don't want to move. There's a lot of volume today. Okay, so what do we have? So today I was very patient. So that's why I'm not too mad on my loss today, because I was actually very patient and I followed strategy to a T, and I actually saw the setup as it was going. You know how yesterday I said I let my emotions get the best of me. I explained to y'all after everything, oh, okay, I have a breaker block. Okay, it tapped this fair value gap. Oh, you know what I'm saying? How I went through all these little confluences and different technicals that I'm like, man, I didn't see those at the time because I was letting my emotions get me, seeing price run and me wanting to get in, right? Well, not just seeing price go in. I thought I was on the right side because I had my test to my resistance. Going back to it, I had my test to resistance. But ultimately, we were falling to an area of support. Okay. So that's why you want to see on your big time frame what we're doing. So on our smaller time frame, we're not surprised by an an automatic reaction. Okay. So what did we have? We have our range, just like I said it. But what did we have before the range? Going into the previous day, we had an uptrend of higher highs, higher lows. And as you can see, my 552 mark is an area of support where buyers are holding this up. So we had an area of higher highs, higher lows, right? Before gapping down. And remember what I told y'all. I felt like price was giving sell the rumor, buy the news, meaning heavy sell off till Liberation Day, which is tomorrow, which is tariff day. And whenever we get that bad news, actually get a pump. That's not really what's happening right now. What we're getting, because on Monday and Tuesday, leading up to the Wednesday, we've been having the buy the rumor, and we might have sell the news, or we never know what might happen. Trump might say something, which we don't really care about the politics, but we know that politics move our money. So Trump might say, "Oh, I'm not going to do the tariffs," and we might actually just get another pump. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So price dropped down, gave a range, gave our manipulation breaking out of this range before ultimately filling this gap. And that's where I was licking my lips. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready for it. I already seen it before it was coming. I seen my range. I seen my manipulation. I seen this big sell off. I was just waiting on it. I was just waiting on it all. I seen the big sell off from what price actually did that? That's 558. Came all the way down to 553. I was licking my lips. Why was I licking my lips? I was ready, man. I was ready. I feel like it was a very good setup. I'm telling you, if you think I'm just making up this trend accumulation, manipulation, distribution, search it up. I'm telling you, everything I tell you, I don't want you to just, oh, he's right. I want you to actually fact check me. I want you to go back and watch videos on these things to see, does Devin actually know what he's talking about? Is that actually accumulation, manipulation, distribution? Is that actually a real thing? I want you to fact check me. Are you supposed to buy on red days? I want you to fact check me. Was 2008 the Great Depression, or am I supposed to buy in at these red levels? Should I buy Tesla? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying just go off of me. I want you to do your own research, but ultimately, I want to be a guide for your research. I want to be able to tell you these things and put info into you, and so you can ultimately, like, I want you to be able to process that, and whatever makes sense to you and whatever you feel is right, or even if you feel is wrong, I want you to go back and research it and look for it and make a analysis of your analysis for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So with our accumulation, manipulation, distribution, I seen that. What was I waiting on? I wanted price to come back and retrace, creating the bottom of this range, an area of resistance, ultimately filling this gap. Why filling this gap? Because this was the gap that ultimately broke this range. This block right here ultimately broke this range, giving this big strength candle. I wanted to come back, retrace to the strength candle before ultimately breaking through and breaking this low, which would have been a take profit, and I would have wanted it to hit this area of support. I would have been cautious of this area of support because I already knew it was there. I already seen price react off it. And remember, price doesn't always come exactly down to that support. Buyers will buy it up a little right before because they know people are waiting at that support. So they'll buy it. They bought it literally, because where's the support? 552.79, and they literally bought it at 553.67. So literally like $1 before. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I know I have a support, but since we're in this downtrend, I know sellers have more power than the buyers. So we can ultimately break support as we've constantly been doing. Because in a downtrend, you constantly break areas of support because you're breaking lows and you're creating lower lows. So you're breaking through supports. In an uptrend, you're breaking through resistance levels. You would break through these red lines in during uptrends because you're ultimately making higher highs and higher lows. But ultimately, you want to have those levels because at this level, that's where you have your sellers at. And as you can see, at these levels, at these support levels, these are where you have your buyers at, right? So what I was looking for, I wanted price to come retrace, sweeping this little retracement, because this is where a little pause was at, which was sweeping this little retracement. I wanted to come and fill this strength candle, making the bottom of this range a resistance, which it came, hit it, swept this. I got in at this candle right here, this second red candle that engulfed this seller candle. Now, it didn't give me what I really wanted. I wanted to see that wick right there, okay? In one of my lives, I went over that where I didn't get in on a good move, which ultimately went the way I knew it was going to go, but I didn't get in because it didn't give me my wick, okay? So what did I do when I seen that? Because I'm telling you, when I go over these things, it's not just for me to tell you, it also helps me learn. And since I went over that, I was already expecting it. You know what I'm saying? I seen that solid candle and I was like, man, that's not what I want to see. It's not the wick. But then I remembered, okay, Devin, you've done this before. So what did I do? I went to my 5 minute. Okay, stay with me. This is why you go over your trades and you want to learn from these things. Okay. So what did I see? It came up and gave this wick. What is that? A wick. And at the time, it was a white wick. Why was it a white wick? Because it was a buyer candle up there and then the sellers took over. So at the time, in the 5 minute, it actually had the white when I jumped in. You know what I'm saying? So it had this wick, which is still a wick. It had this wick making this an area of resistance, filling this gap. Exactly what I wanted to see. And stay with me because I'm gonna show y'all where I went wrong and where this model comes exactly into place. Because it's coming into place right now, but you're gonna see exactly why it why I got in didn't work. And if you're following me, you can probably see it before I even say it. Okay. So I see this wick, right? I got in because I had my accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? It okay. Let me go on there. Okay. I got in at this retracement. Price started dropping down. I was up maybe $15 right here before price ultimately starts coming up, and these buyers obviously stepped in. So, and then, okay, so where's my stop loss? My stop loss has to be at the top of that strength candle because we know price, that strength candle is where sellers are at. Sellers can continually knock that price down till ultimately invalidating this fair value gap. Okay, when you invalidate a fair value gap and my order block is right above it, when you invalidate a fair value gap and order block, that means price wants to go the opposite way. So that's why I have my stop loss at the top of my fair value gap, right? Okay, so what did price do? It broke down, which I wanted to see before ultimately these buyers coming in and getting this big candle and stopping me out. It just broke all the way up, and right here at 557, I smashed sell, and before ultimately being down $150. Why down $150? Because I got in at 555 area, and price just shot up with this big old candle from 556 to 557. We had a dollar candle. That's how much buyers stepped in the market. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately stopping me out for $150. But why did I get stopped out? Why did those buyers suddenly come in? Well, you probably seen this before I even got to it. That's where I'm getting at. Because what did we have? We had the uptrend from yesterday already. We already had these buyers step in from these areas of support. So we already had this uptrend starting, right? We had this uptrend because we had higher highs, higher lows, right? And this is where I was at, right? My 557.24, where I had my range, manipulation up to 558, accumulation, and then I got in at my retracement, right? But why did that retracement fail to continue making lower lows, lower highs? Why? Because we had our distribution down into an order block. You see where I'm at? Distribution down into the order block. And that's where everything I'm teaching you from these previous streams about the order block and price will come retrace into your order blocks and your fair value gaps and react off those. It literally came into place where I can show y'all and you can be like, he is not lying. You know what I'm saying about these order blocks? And you can even see it retraced into my fair value gap and gave a reaction. It dropped a little bit in my favor, but this ultimate uptrend, I wouldn't call it ultimate because our ultimate is our current downtrend, right? Our ultimate. But what we have currently going on is our uptrend, right? In the scalp, we have this little down, but if we pull out into what we're in right now, our 5 minute, we can see we're creating higher highs, higher lows. So that's all I did was get caught into my scalp downtrend. I know these things, but I did feel like sellers were stronger, which could drop price down. But if I was smarter, I would have been in this 5 minute. And honestly, I wouldn't even have got in at this distribution until it broke down and invalidating this order block right here. Y'all staying with me? If I was smart and being safe, I wouldn't even have got in where I got in because I would have wanted to see price invalidate this fair value gap and order block of my uptrend to show prices actually moving downward further. You see what I'm saying? But no, I got caught up into the scalp coming into my fair value gap. But no, what price was really doing, it gave the manipulation distribution, and the distribution really ended up being another area of manipulation just to come down and tap my uptrend, or came down to tap my fair value gap to continue my uptrend, creating higher highs and higher lows. But stay with me. What did we do when we created the higher highs and higher lows? In the even bigger time frame, we came and filled in a seller's gap. So you see what I'm saying? Where prices react off of these gaps and prices react off of these blocks and these areas of support. So that's why you got to know where they're at so you don't get caught up in them, and so you can know. That's why we're scalpers. We want to get in for these quick moves and get out. Quick get in, quick get out. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to stay in forever because there's too many areas where price reacts off of and too many different areas of liquidity. You know what I'm saying? And so ultimately we could see price coming into this gap before getting knocked all the way back down from 562 to 556. Now price is getting bought back up, but we can see how these gaps are pushing price down, pushing price up, and how we need to see the bigger view of things so we can ultimately scale down into our smaller things and smaller frames to capitalize off these trades. You see what I'm saying? So I hope y'all are staying with me, and I hope what I went over taught y'all a little something, even if y'all didn't get too much, or even if, you know what I'm saying, even if everything didn't register. I hope y'all can get some value from some of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. Tomorrow we have heavy news, but Trump doesn't come out with his news until market close. Okay. And so I'm not really expecting much. I can see more of a range tomorrow because we don't know what's going on until market close, right? Let me close my stream. That we don't know what's going to happen until market close, right? Because Trump doesn't talk to market close, right? And so I can see ranging when it's range, equal highs and equal lows. I can see the ranging. I can see ranging until I can see ranging tomorrow because of price action. But if I see a good setup, I'm not going to trade with real money tomorrow. I'm down $600 on a week. That is way more than I can afford to lose, way more than I wanted to lose. And it's honestly a big drawdown. It's embarrassing. It's a big drawdown on my confidence and just a big drawdown in general because in the past weeks, I think last week I was only down $21. And actually I was green all the way up until that Friday. So I was only down $21 last week. The week before, I believe I lost about $50. The week before that, I was actually positive, I think about $100. And the other previous 2 weeks, I was break even. So literally $0 won, $0 lost. So that is very big. And you'll see that when you're trading, that having weeks where you take trades and you actually lose $0 but make $0 is very, very confidence boosting because you tend to lose money in trading when you're first starting. So when you start to get break even, that is a step in the right direction. And what is after break even? You want to get into the green where I'm making money. I had a big drawdown this week after doing fairly good because only losing $21 in a week of probably I take a trade a day. So and in some of those days I took more than one trade. So possibly about 7 trades and I only lost $21. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good week for me. That's a win. And so this week was a huge just step back and just go over everything I've learned and just keep learning and keep building on everything. You know what I'm saying? And so that is pretty much it for the day. You know what I'm saying? I wish all y'all guys the best. You know what I'm saying? I want to teach y'all and I hope y'all learn and I hope everything is well and these streams are going to continue getting better and I'm sorry for the cutouts. Those will not continue to happen. Things will get better. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately we'll get better in everything in the market with the knowledge, everything. Remember, 1% better, we starving for 2. And remember, our accumulation, manipulation, distribution phase. And I'm going to close it off with this. Close it off with this. Stay with me. 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 Pretty much going to close it off. So I love every one of y'all guys. I hope I gave some of y'all guys knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That is my whole goal, is to feed the family. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not just talking. I want to teach y'all this, and I want y'all to do y'all's own research. And ultimately, y'all are seeing my losses right now, right? But I had some wins. Don't think I'll just lose, okay? I had a bad 2 days. More than just bad 2 days. Well, I had a horrible day yesterday. Today was just a bad day. I lost money, but it was ultimately my strategy. I see where I went wrong. Yesterday was bad. You know what I'm saying? We're not just sweeping it under the rug, but we're not going to let it weigh too much on us. You know what I'm saying? Because setbacks for major successes. You know what I'm saying? And so we're going to continue to get better. I've showed y'all I was winning when I first started getting on here. I made money today. I made money today. There were base hits, like $80, I think $50, you know what I'm saying? And then I had a huge drawdown to $400, but that is because I sized up. You know what I'm saying? I sized up and I was feeling confident, and I that's not even the bad part. I didn't follow my rules. I didn't get out of my stop loss, and that is why I lost that much, and that is why discipline over emotions every single time. And I know that, and that's why I'm going to continue getting better, keep hitting my head against the door before I realize, oh, turn the knob and open the door. You know what I'm saying? And so today I can't be too mad at it. I got out at my stop loss. I see my range, I see my accumulation, my manipulation, distribution. I just ultimately didn't capitalize off of I gotta see in my bigger time frame and get further validation in the trend. You know what I'm saying? And so, especially in times like this where the market is so iffy and just up and down, sideways and stuff like that, where it's kind of just flying up and down, but it's ultimately in kind of this just downward range. It's in this range, but it's just so far down. You know what I'm saying? So if the market is, when the market is trending up, and whenever on easy days and times of uncertainty, I mean when times are not like this, where times are so uncertain, I promise you the markets are easier. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say easy. Trading is not easy. There's nothing easy about this. There's about 97% of traders that fail. 97% of traders that fail. I won't be part of that. It's 97%. But why do 97% of traders fail? Because they give up. They give up. They quit. I will not quit. You know what I'm saying? I will continue showing up every single day and teaching you guys, but not just teaching you guys. I will continue learning every single day. Believe that. I learn every single day. Every single day I'm getting 1% better, and that's what I strive to make sure that y'all are doing 1% better every day. And so I'm gonna sign off on that. You know what I'm saying? I know this live stream and my last one, it's about 2 hours together. Jesus Christ, that is long. But please, if you were in this live stream, you have to go back to that last live stream. You have to, because those ultimately are together, and the last one has so much valuable information carrying over to this one. So I'm gonna sign off on that. And remember, guys, stay persistent, passionate, make sure you get paid. Peace.